Have you ever wondered why most people fail to reach their goals, even when they feel motivated? You see, it's a common belief that motivation is the key to change. But what if I told you solely rely on motivation is the biggest reason why you're not seeing the results? If you ever felt stuck in a cycle of trying and failing to make a long-lasting change, this video is definitely for you. Now, I know what you're thinking. Isn't motivation is the driving force behind any change? Or isn't discipline is the foundation of success? We all heard that before, from books, podcasts, or even motivational speakers. We all hearing the same advice. You just need to push yourself harder. But what if I told you that it's not the full picture? What if instead of focusing on motivation or willpower, the real key to transformation lies in creating something simpler and far more sustainable? That's exactly what I want you to show you today. Now, I want you to be honest with yourself. How many times have you set a new habit or goal only to find yourself quitting after a few days or weeks? Maybe you have just made a New Year resolution only to watch them slip away before the month even ends. Now imagine this, you keep setting goals, you keep pushing yourself harder to make all those changes the same way. In the end, you're just feeling frustrated and exhausted and feel that you will never get it right. And worse still, you begin to doubt yourself whether you are capable of making these changes in your life. And when you keep repeating those thoughts, this is where you start to believe that you are not good enough to achieve the transformation that you truly desire. This is the trap where most people fall into, where they solely rely on motivation, willpower, or discipline alone. Let me take you back to when I first started my journey of personal transformation. Like many of you, I read a lot of self-help books, watch a lot of videos, listening to podcasts, or even attending seminars because I was motivated to make a positive change in my life. I was determined to become more disciplined, so I committed to reading every day. But here's the thing, I wasn't getting anywhere. No matter how hard I tried, I couldn't seem to finish a book. I would pick one up, read a few pages, get distracted, and put it down again. I thought that if I just forced myself to keep on reading, I would stay on track. But that didn't work either. My motivation fluctuated, so did my progress. And in the end, I wasn't consistent in whatever I did. Then one day, something clicked. I began to realize that whatever I did in the past was all wrong. I wasn't setting a clear intention of why I want to read the book. I was just focused on finishing the book by a certain time frame. And guess what? It still didn't work because there were some days that I just don't feel like reading it. It was then when I finally understood that sustainable change doesn't solely rely on motivation, willpower, or discipline. Now, you might be thinking, okay, but isn't some level of motivation necessary to get started? And yes, you are right. But here's the thing. Motivation can help you get started, but it's not enough to help you sustain change in the long run. It's like trying to power a car with a weak battery. It might run for a while, but eventually it will stall. And that's where most people give up. And how do we create change that actually lasts? The answer is simpler than you think. You just need to start small and create momentum first. The essence of lasting change is rooted in small, consistent behaviors. It's about creating tiny habits that compound over time. For instance, let's say if you want to start reading a book. Instead of committing yourself to reading one chapter, why don't you just read about 2 pages? At first, reading 2 pages might seem small to make a difference. But when those 2 pages add up in a month, that's 60 pages. Over a year, that's a lot of books. The key here is that you are not relying on motivation. You are creating a habit that's so small and easy to start that doesn't require you to have any willpower. Research on habit formation shows that small actions are far more effective to create long-lasting change than big, overwhelming ones. In fact, habits are created through consistent repetition, which gradually rewires your brain to make these behaviors automatic. This is why people who practice this principle by starting small actions to create momentum first will eventually achieve extraordinary success in their life. It's not about doing it all at once. It's about taking small focused steps. But here's the thing, practices alone isn't enough. To make real change, we need to shift our perception. And that's something we will dive deeper into in my next video, where I'll reveal how to shape your perception to overcome the biggest obstacles to change. But before that, let's focus on how to get started first. Now imagine this. Think of building lasting change like a snowball rolling down the hill. At the top, it seems small and insignificant, but as it rolls, it started to gain momentum and grow bigger and bigger. The same goes for habits. At first, it may seem small and insignificant, but when you consistently do it over and over again, it starts to build momentum, and before you know it, these habits that you adopt have become part of your life. The power is in the small, consistent action you take every single day. Alright, I hope you found this video useful, and if this message resonates with you, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and share with someone that you know who is currently struggling to make a lasting change. In my next video, I will reveal how to shape your perception and overcome the biggest obstacles to making lasting change. So make sure that you don't want to miss it. And also, if you are serious about taking small steps towards lasting change, I have created a Momentum Builder workbook to help you kickstart building the momentum first. So go ahead and download it through the link in the description below. Remember, transformation starts with one small step, and it doesn't need to be complicated. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in my next video.